Ito, dikit mo na kasi ito na yung paper na ako na naman namin.
Sipag na.
Nandyan ka na ba, Yasin? Ay, pala.
Shane? Saan mo naman pinapagsak mo? Tapos ay panda ko eh. Kasi ang lakas mo? Ang tagal namin eh. Oo. Hindi naman. Sa motor lang ito minsan nabasa eh. Traffic pa. Ang lugar mo? Saan lang naman sa Central? Sa may Punta pa lang kami, pumunta na kami. Pero mga masang sisi. Pagdating namin sa depot, wala palang ulan doon.
Hi, Yasin. Nandyan ka na ba? Yasin? Yasin? Start na tayo, ha? Start. Ano? Ano signal mo? Ba't ganyan ang boses mo? Ano to? Sabi, naka-record pala tayo. Paano pag pinlay yun? May background to. Yasin, start na tayo, ha? Tapos yung mga hindi nakapanood, panoorin na lang nila yung recording. No, Yasin? Start na tayo. Yasin. Paano pag walang pumasok? I-record ko na lang sa inyo.
Anong oras ba Zoom mo?
4 to 5.
Wala nang pumasok.
Wala.
Record mo lang. Oo, tapos isisend mo na lang. Kawawa ka. Bahala sila kasi kung saan sila record mo na lang.
The title of our subject is Community Engagement, Solidarity, and Citizenship. Okay, so, or known as community engagement. But the whole title of our subject is Solidarity and Citizenship. So what is our subject all about? Okay, the subject is all about, will focus on the application of ideas and methods of the social sciences to understand, investigate, and examine the challenges of contemporary community life. So it will be all about what is community all about on all its basic essence and all its different facets. Okay. So if you are familiar with the subject solidarity citizenship, we will deal with core values about or topics about human rights, social justice, empowerment, advocacy, gender equality, and participatory development. Okay? So it aims to enhance a student's sense of shared identity and willingness to contribute to the pursuit of the common good of the community. And it will enable students like you to integrate applied social sciences into community action initiatives. Okay? So that's it. So let us start with our week one. So the complete title of our subject is Community Engagement. What is community all about? What is community all about? Okay. So, according to our material, a vibrant and dynamic community represents a collective that is driven by living cogs within its milieu. You and I are part of this ongoing evolution we can see in our very eyes. As a community of learners, we have yet to scratch the surface of the community and reach the level in which we appreciate the complex connections we have with other people. Thinking about our cultural, political, and economic differences. Okay? Communities are living testaments of our diversity. Okay, diversity is pagkakaiba-iba. Okay, community in Tagalog is pamayanan. Bawat pamayanan may pagkakapare-pareho at meron din pagkakaiba-iba. Okay, gaya ng nasabi ko, a vibrant dynamic community continuously evolve. What's the meaning of evolve? Sa pagdaan ng panahon, ang bawat pamayanan at ang bawat tao sa pamayanan ay nagbabago, umuunlad, at ano pa, by studying the community and its dynamic, we unravel and appreciate our environment, our institution, and ourselves as citizens of this country. Wow. Obar, andyan ka pala, tsaka Yasin. Uh, Obar, naririnig mo ba ako? Mag-unmute ka nga para we can start our lesson. Obar and Yasin, pwede ba kayo magsalita? Okay, sige. Ikaw, Yasin. Okay, so let's start. So, as what I've mentioned, week one will deal about the concepts and the perspectives of what a community is. In Tagalog, community is pamayanan. Okay? So, in a local term, a perfect example of a pamayanan is our barangay. Ayan. Panalo ka. Ano, Yasin? So, let's start to discuss the importance of understanding community dynamics and community action. So, let's start. Okay, let's start. Okay, I'd like you to watch a video about community dynamics. Okay?
I'm excited for 2020. Stop being fake. Wake up! You're a puppet! Community dynamics. What is community dynamics? Community, a group of people. Dynamics, self-motivated person, active person, energetic person, known as dynamics for development of the community. So, community dynamics is the process of change and development within communities. Community dynamics which strive to bring about positive social change through community-based programming. Significance. Community dynamics is here to work with community to think creatively and act strategically so that community can achieve their goals. And community dynamics believes that creative and sustainable programming that works to raise the quality of living for those most vulnerable to poverty and exploitation. What are the dynamics in community level? Integrative forces, disintegrative forces, participative group and groupism, functions of subgroups, minority groups, gender and empowerment, integrative forces. Integrative thinking is a field in applied mind science which was originated by Graham Douglas in 1986. He describes integrative thinking as the process of integrating intuition, reason, and imagination in a human mind with a view to developing a holistic continuum of strategy, tactics, action, review, and evaluation for addressing a problem in any field. Integrative forces. A problem may be defined as the difference between what one has and what one wants. Integrative thinking as described may be learned by applying the SORA, satisfying, optimum, achievable results ahead. Disintegrative forces. Disintegrative processes are therefore seen as positive, whereas people who fail to go through positive disintegration may remain for their entire lives in a state of primary integration. Participative group. Participative group is known by many names including share leadership, community empowerment, community involvement, participative decision making. Steinheiter, B. Bayo, P.S. and Holmes 12. Groupism, the tendency to think and act as members of a group, is the concept which makes everyone to feel empathy, sympathy, refeeling, goal achievement, subgroup. A group formed of a subset of members drawn from a larger parent group. Subgroups are not autonomous, though members of the parent group may choose to join a subgroup rather than be assigned. Membership in a subgroup is ultimately controlled by the parent group and its owner. Subgroup subset of members drawn from a larger parent group. A user joins a group and is put into a smaller group, X, committees, teams, which might have access to resources that the larger group has. Functions work towards goal achievement, motivate the members. Organize meeting with the members. Organize meeting with the external agents. Liaising with government and others. Minority group. A minority is a sociological category within a demographic. those who don't hold the majority of positions of social power in a society. Gender and empowerment. Gender empowerment is conceived as a process by which women can overcome many of the hurdles that they face, such as education, work status, employment opportunities, health care, social security, position in decision making by virtue of their gender.
Okay. So, did you understand something about the presentation? About the presentation? Hasmin, nandyan ka pala. Hasmin? Hasmin? Did you understand something about the presentation?
Hi, sir.
Hi Hasmin, kamusta? So,
Okay lang po ako. Okay lang po.
narinig mo naman yung presentation, di ba?
Yes po.
Okay. So, mabuti o Bar, narinig mo ba ng mabuti yung presentation?
Sir, kakapasok ko lang po.
Okay. So, what about Obar? Iha, is the presentation clear? Okay.
Sir, I think our topic today is all about community dynamics po.
Community dynamics. That will be our first topic. So, the one I presented a while ago, is just an overview of week 1. Okay? It's just an overview of week 1. So, Yasin, did you hear the presentation? Yasin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us continue. Somebody message. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so what basically is community and what basically is community dynamics, di ba? As we all know, evolution is a continuous process. Every minute and
Yes.
every second of our living life is evolving. Evolving stops when a person dies. Okay, when a person leaves the planet, evolution stops. But every day, every minute would be evolution happens. Okay? Part of understanding the part of understanding community dynamics is accepting that the community continuously evolves. Nagbabago siya. Araw-araw, nag-i-improve, but nag-i-improve siya. Okay, so for our week 1, lesson 1, okay, so after you have heard the overview of our topic, I'd like to present to you this. Ay,
The importance of understanding community dynamics and community actions.
okay, Yasin, pakibasa nga yung next slide. Okay, the importance of understanding community dynamics and community action. Diba, part of our subject, in order for you to become responsible citizens of our country, you must first accept the fact that you are part of a community. Pag sinabi natin community
Yes.
class, hindi lang yung barangay ha. Baka ang pag sinabing community, barangay lang yung naiisip nyo. We are part of different communities. Okay, in our life, we may have a number of communities. Okay, one perfect example of a community, of a physical community, is our barangay. But we also holds different physical communities in our lives as we go on or as we age in life. Okay, today you will understand the importance and how you could understand community dynamics and community action better. Okay. Okay. Pakibasa nga ito, Yasin. Yasin, the living commune.
The living commune. The word community in its literary form is divided by two characteristics: location and social identifications. First, a community can be defined simply as a group of individuals bound with specific geographic locations. It means that a group of people living in a specific area can be called community. A community is a living social entity and goes beyond the old categorized of space as its primary definitions. More than a space, a community is made up of people, you and I, much alike living organism. You might think of people as a living cells that make up an organic being. People within the community act in the same way, in the same of importance, like cells. We need each other to support life. Our society itself as life has vibrancy, and every single one is as integral to support this structure as everybody else.
Okay. So, for you to better understand it, class, even before we have an idea of a community, we are already have established community system in our society. For example,
Yeah,
during nung panahon ng wala pa yung mga Kastila, yung wala pa yung mga mananakop na Espanyol,
yes. Yung mga
ano,
datos,
yan.
mga sultans.
Oh, Yasin, how do we form our community, Yasin? Before the Spanish times. Ano yung mga nabuo na
I
community?
before Spanish time, sir, may mga datos and sultanate na daw na namumuno before
Okay,
the
correct.
Spanish came.
Okay, so in Mindanao or maybe even in Luzon, there are existing ng mga sultanates or kingdoms before the Spaniards came. Okay, bago pa sila
Yes,
dumating,
sir.
there are actually established communities na even before the sultanates and kingdoms, mga prehistoric people, meron na rin silang community. They are living in caves. They are living beside the river. They are living near the sea or the ocean. Kung nasaan ang buhay, nandun ang community. Always try to remember those things. But as we all know, life has improved a lot from the time before the Spaniards or the Americans came, bago pa sila dumating, compared to 2020, we have improved drastically or we have improved dramatically in all different aspects of life. Nag-improve na ang community. We are not only dealing with location, we are not dealing with social identification, we deal with different things that would what? That would make each community unique. Okay, nakapagbuo tayo ng iba't ibang pamayanan na may sariling katangian at may sariling personalidad. Okay? So yun yung sinasabi natin sa community. Hindi lang siya location, hindi lang siya pare-parehas natin. So that's it. Let's continue. The basic of community. Hasbin, can you read? Hasbin,
Yes po.
pakibasa nga. When we think of community,
When we think of community, we think of how people come together to form a singular function. We see it as a structure that is made up of individuals bound by something abstract and unforeseen. It is not as simple as such, as the community is bound because of self-help. The concept of self-help is about how individuals seek personality development without the help of others. However, self-help depends as community wants, each individual wants and needs intersect. Therefore, justifying a need to unify, it is assumed that people are bound to seek self-help in their own lives and in their journey, find common avenues for cooperation and partnerships among others, and therefore lay foundation for capacity building.
capacity building. So the basic mantra of a community is basically no man is an island. Always try to remember that. We don't exist by ourselves only and we need other people in order to survive. unless you are trapped in an island, right? And you are bound to live a very what? A very isolated life. But in a normal community, we are what? We are expected to connect with other people, to collaborate with them in order for us to survive. And that is the basic of a community. The concept of self-help. Okay. But how do you basically um, start to reconnect with other people? You start to connect with other people by what? Starting to what? Starting to help yourself. And once you are ready to connect, you can, okay.
Ano, ilan? Ano?
Obar, pakibasa nga, through community participation, Obar, okay. Okay na, Obar. So, thank you. So, what about community participation? Pag sinabi nating participation class, um, we have our some similarities and we have our differences. Meron tayong pagkakaiba-iba at meron tayong pagkakapare-pareho. And all of these two aspects of our personality, they intersect in different times. For example, if it's Christmas, di ba? If it's Christmas, it's time to celebrate. Everybody celebrates during Christmas. If it's December 25, majority of the people around the world, they celebrate Christmas. Okay? That's our commonality. But for example, if it's election time, it's time to choose public servants. That's the time that will highlight our differences. We have different choices. We call it community participation. Okay? Our similarities and our differences, they intersect in different times of our lives. Okay? Always remember those times. Okay. Okay, pakibasa nga uli ito, Yasin. While participation is key, inclusion is one aspect, Yasin.
While participation is inclusion
Yasin.
is one aspect of the community that is integral in binding the collective into a whole. As a form of social assembly, the
Yasin.
personalities within Sir,
Andiyan pa ba kayo?
signal.
Nakatulog na, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay, so what about inclusion? Inclusion is one aspect of the community that is integral in binding the collective into a whole. As a form of social assembly, the personalities within a community are different and unique. In respect to culture, race, religion, and other identifiable social identities, one person is unique as to the other, such as backgrounds, history, mores, customs, vary and yet should be integrated into the local communal social fabric. Moreover, inclusion echoes the need for the community to be compromising and tolerant of these differences. A community should always consider not only the needs of the majority, but more critically, the needs of the minority that are often neglected or overlooked. This can be solved by using more objective instruments of inquiry and wider view that reality exists outside the confines of the majority. Inclusion is all about conciliation that reaches beyond norms of collective understanding wherein the goals is to reach social equity among its members. So let us what is inclusion all about? For you to better understand it, let's take a look at our Filipino society. Filipino society is divided into different aspects, right? For example, politically, we are divided. We are divided into partidos. We have PDP Laban, we have Liberal Party. Okay. In gender, we have the LGBT community, we have the straight community, we have the different community that caters to different genders and different sexual orientations. What about we have government organizations and then we have non-government organizations. We have mga katutubo. Okay? And then we have people living in the city. Okay? We have people living in the city. And then we also have people who are what? Who are feminists. May mga feminists, di ba? Mga Gabriela, yung mga organizations na ganyan. So, and then we also have generation groups. We have the Gen X, the Gen Y, the Millennials, the Post-Millennials group, di ba? May mga, yun yung mga usong-uso ngayon. We refer to young generations as millennials. Yung mas bata pa sa kanila, we refer to them as post-millennials. Okay, so we what is the meaning of inclusion? Okay, the meaning of inclusion is that you try to find your commonality as a person, as a group, in order to make a collective into a whole. Ang bawat community, you can make it collected so that you can make it as a whole country. So paano mo magagawa yun? You try to tolerate and to accept other communities for your community to exist. Okay? So I will repeat, you need to accept and tolerate other communities for your own community to exist. Kaya dapat mong tanggapin ang ibang pamayanan para mag-exist o ang iyong pamayanan. So that is the Tagalog term for it, pamayanan. So with inclusion, we try to look beyond our differences. We try to look beyond our differences and we try to focus on things that makes us similar or makes us the same. Which is in the Philippines, at the end of the day, we may have different characteristics or we may have different characteristics or we may have different choices, but at the end of the day, we are all Filipinos. And Filipinos,
Yes.
what makes up the Philippines? Okay? So that's it. So Hasmin, pakibasa nga to. Hasmin.
The community as a movement.
Okay.
Community is more than just a collective.
Hasmin, nandyan
It
ka
is
ba?
much like a living entity
Hasmin,
that
nandyan ka na ba?
even
Okay.
with either
A community as a movement. A community is more than just a collective. It acts much like a living entity that takes on life. Living within the imagination of its members, a community also embodies a perspective, identity, strand, and much like a social movement. The main differences between both a social movement is it exists primarily of a cause and manifests either as a reaction to an event or as pre-existing popular rhetoric among the community members. While a community is bound not just by one issue or narrative, but on plethora of compromises that are commonly accepted and continually reinforced. To put it simply, a social movement is more issue-specific and may exist primarily for its own ecosystem. To look deeper into dynamics, let us focus on its important ideals and how it comes to fruition. Okay, so how do we explain community as a movement? Okay, as a movement. Okay, let's have an example. Okay, the baby boomers. Who are the baby boomers? These are the people or these are the person ipinanganak sila pagkatapos ng gera. Bakit sila tinawag na baby boomers? Ipinanganak sila nung pagkatapos ng gera. So, kung i-check nyo, class, for example, meron kayong lolo at lola. Napansin nyo, yung mga nakaraang generation, nung panahon ng mga lolo at lola natin, kapag nag-anak sila, ang dami, di ba? Ang daming magkakapatid. Merong 10 magkakapatid, may 15 magkakapatid because they were born after the war, pagkatapos ng gera. So, ipinanganak sila pagkatapos ng gera kung saan maraming tao ang namatay. So, in order to revive our community or of our economy, of our country, they need to have more children. So, they were encouraged to what? To reproduce more offspring. Mas maraming anak. Okay, ano pa ba? Okay, meron din tayong tinatawag na millennials. Okay, millennials sila yung mga ipinanganak noong taong 1981. 1981 sila pinanganak hanggang 1995. Okay, lahat ng pinanganak noong 1981 hanggang 1995, ang tawag natin sa kanila mga millennials. So, mga millennials, sila yung mga bata na madalas sila yung nasa workforce in the Philippines. Mostly millennials are the ones propelling or fueling the workforce of the Philippines right as of this time. But meron pang mas bata sa kanila. Yung pinanganak mula 1996 hanggang present, ang tawag natin sa kanila ay post-millennial. Okay? Ay sige pa ma. So, ganun yun. So, there are communities made because of generations. Because of the generations they were born into. Okay? So, this generation, they form a movement for them to be recognized. Okay? They are maybe what? They are maybe fueling the economy for the country to survive. Sila yung workforce ng isang bansa. So that's what community as a movement happens. So ano pa? Meron din tayong community, for example, ng mga those who are victims of martial law during the 70s and during the early 80s. They have formed a special community amongst themselves in order to find justice from what they have experienced during martial law during the 1980s and during the 1970s. So may mga ganun ding communities. And out of these communities, sub-communities were formed. For example, communities of women. Kaya nabuo ang Gabriela. Okay? Pero much larger communities and much older communities or groups are formed like the New People's Army or NPA. Mas nauna silang nabuo kaysa sa mga victims ng martial law, kaysa doon sa grupo ng mga kababaihan because of what they are fighting for. They are fighting for what? They may appear to be sometimes anti-government, but in reality, they are fighting for something. Okay? And we call them community as a movement. Okay? They are bound not just by one issue or narrative. They are bound with their personal battles. Okay? Community as a movement. Okay, what about andyan pa ba kayo, Yasin? Yasin and Hasmin?
Yes po.
Opo.
Okay, let us continue. Okay, let us continue. So, through issues and concerns that are shared among its members, advocacies are formed. Ano naman yung mga advocacies? Okay, in simple terms, advocacies, ito yung mga prinsipyong ating ipinaglalaban. Okay, there are groups who are very very known for their advocacies. For example, there are certain non-government organizations. For example, when you go to Rizal Park, there is Museo Pambata. Museo Pambata is, you may see it as a museum, but it is also a community of what do you call it? Community of teachers, community of educators. They are what? They are advocating the welfare of the Filipino youth. Okay? Meron naman tayong DSWD, which is a government. Okay? But there are also
Yes.
non-government organizations that helps on the welfare of the Filipino youth. Tapos meron tayong mga groups we call as Sun for All Children. Tapos ABS-CBN, Putap Bantay Bata 163. So, these advocacies, ang tawag natin doon, may mga prinsipyo silang pinaglalaban which aim to support or to gather support to improve the community. In this case, these organizations are focused on children. Tapos meron din tayo, other than children, may mga grupo din tayo for mga katutubo, for our ethnic community, di ba? Meron tayong mga grupong ganon. Okay? And then we also have groups for women, meron ding groups for students, tapos yung Laban Consumer. These are groups for consumers. So, ang tawag natin doon, these are communities or these are groups that have certain advocacies. Only they cater to different facets or different strands of our society. But we also refer to them as our community. Pwedeng sa government, pwedeng hindi sa government. Okay? So that's it. So other than advocacies we also have groups like we call them as networks. Networks. So who are these? Networks, they can be formal or informal. Okay, so what
So
are
collaborations.
Relations are created with the organic networking of actors that later on find commonalities and avenues for cooperation and partnerships. Underpinning this effort is the spirit of collaboration, where groups and individuals from various walks of life come together to form linkages that are important for mobilization and value creation. Okay, how does it happen? Communities improve and communities develop because of networking. So how does it happen? So let's have an example. Youth-oriented organizations or youth-oriented advocacies, they expand their network and communities by collaborating with different organizations. Let's have it para example, eksaktong example. For example, yung Museo Pambata in Rizal Park is a non-government organization. Hindi siya pinapondohan ng government. But a lot of its income come from the government. For example, how does it exist? Kung wala siyang budget, di ba? Kung wala siyang budget, how does it exist as a museum or as an organization? So, networking provides Museo Pambata enough financial assistance in order to exist and for it to practice or to implement its youth-oriented advocacies. For example, there will be field trips organized by senators. And then Museo Pambata would get a certain amount from the senators for them to pay whatever it is that they needed to pay in the museum for them to visit the museum. So, ganon. So, Museo Pambata would also collaborate with different organizations. For example, they will collaborate with different schools with different schools and even organizations abroad in order to finance its activities. Okay, Museo Pambata is a member of the International Museum Groups of the World. Okay, it caters to different advocacies to help Filipino children around the Philippines. And they do it because of the word networking. By networking, you seek help, you seek support, and you collaborate with different organizations for you to improve and for you to develop as an organization, as a part of a community. Okay. So that's it. So let's have a recap. We have defined what a community is, the basic of a community, and then next, how do we achieve community participation? And then what is inclusion? What is inclusion? Community as a movement. And lastly, what do we mean by advocacies and what do we mean by networking? Okay.
Networking.
So I think we have Andiyan pa ba kayo, Yasin?
Yes, sir.
Yasin? So
Yes.
always remember that communities are not only bounded by land or by physical aspects, but community is also what? Community is defined by persons' advocacies. Okay. How do we network? The law of inclusivity. A while ago, I defined to you what is um, what is inclusion all about, and
What is
community as a
advocacy?
movement. And it's 2020 and because of technology, we have made our world a smaller and a smaller community. 'Di ba? Because of technology, we were able to create more communities within ourselves and little sub-communities within our communities. And we were able to have access of communities even if we are bounded by seas, by lands, and if we are what? If we are separated by oceans, because of technologies, we were able to create better and bigger communities for us people. Okay. By next meeting, by next meeting, we will deal with we will deal with the concrete definition of what community is all about. Of what community is all about. So I just wish you enjoyed week one of our subject, and I hope you've understood something about what I have discussed today. So next week, week two, will be all about the definition of what a community is. Okay, thank you everybody. Please refer to our recording for our week one sa mga hindi nakapanood.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye, sir.
May camera ka pala. Ako mo pala. May naintindihan ka nga ba sa diniscuss ko? May naintindihan ka ba? Ba't kasi nakabantay si Mami? Tsaka. Pwede kung hindi nakabantay si Mami, pwede akong magtagal. Hindi naman. Hindi naman.